Hello and welcome to BBC World News. Record-breaking rainfall has caused severe flooding in parts of central China. More than 200,000 people in Hunan province have been evacuated to shelters and safer areas where it's reported a dam could collapse at any time. At least 12 people have died in the city of Zhengzhou after its subway system was inundated with rushing water. Mark Lobel reports.
Floodwater spreading fear. The partly submerged city of Zhengzhou. Its subway system now an underground river. Commuters standing for air. Rescuers bravely reacting to unprecedented scenes, though not everyone made it. Large parts of the train system shut down. Rip currents seemingly running along roads. The amount of rain over the last 3 days in this provincial capital usually falls in an entire year, bringing traffic to a standstill. Many homes were no place for refuge. Over 10,000 residents in the region relocated. More than a dozen cities in this central part of China affected, with Henan's population close to 100 million. With 10,000 lost hectares of crops, the flooding causing an estimated $11 million worth of damage and counting. Rescuers worked all hours, battling floods caused by many factors, including that a warming atmosphere caused by climate change makes extreme rainfall like this more likely, with downpours here forecast to continue for many hours. Mark Lobel, BBC News.
Well, for the latest, I've been speaking with our correspondent in Beijing, Stephen McDonnell.
China's leader has described the situation in Henan as extremely severe, and local officials are saying now 200,000 people have been moved to safer areas because of rising floodwaters. But right across the country, people have been shocked to see those images. I mean, taking public transport, it's a normal part of life in China. So to see footage of commuters trapped inside underground train carriages as the floodwaters rose first to chest level, then the lights were going out, people were in darkness. People inside those carriages then stood up on chairs to get above the floodwaters, and we're being told that in some cases, rescuers were able to reach them by cutting through the roofs of those carriages and taking them out that way. Now, sadly, it wasn't quickly enough for everybody, and there's also pretty shocking footage going around social media here with dead bodies on the platforms of those train stations. Now, outside in Zhengzhou, the city worst hit at the moment, which has had record rains hitting, the highest level of rainfall since records were kept 6 decades ago. The streets have turned into brown rivers which have swallowed up traffic. And in an even more alarming development, the military is saying that at a nearby city, a major dam could actually burst, and that soldiers have been mobilised there to blast around the dam in an attempt to divert floodwaters, take the pressure off the dam, in the hope that what they're talking about is already as a sort of 20-metre fissure in the dam. It can avoid having that dam being burst, which would obviously also be a really terrible development.
So, as you said, 200,000 people being moved to higher ground. It's a staggering number. How are the authorities managing that? Where are they being housed?
Well, China is pretty good at dealing with these emergencies. I mean, they can mobilise a lot of people from the military, and there are emergency teams in place in the flood zones of China, but they are operating on a very large scale at the moment. I mean, there are many towns and cities across Henan which have been affected by these floodwaters. They're having to move around by boat to get people out of buildings. There are obviously people sitting on the roofs of houses and the like. And there is a lot of work to be done, especially given that now we're seeing reports that this rain could keep going on for days. And so the situation could actually continue to deteriorate as rescue teams are trying to reach people who are being trapped by the rapidly rising waters. I should add that there's some talk, by the way, in terms of a long-term problem, that the dams in that area have made the already serious problem with climate change even worse, because they've cut off rivers from lakes, they've cut off the floodplains from rivers which are normally able to absorb the summer deluges, which you do get in China at this time of year. But you know, it's becoming worse and worse, and you know, the flooding is increasing every year to another level, it seems.
Stephen McDonnell in Beijing there.